on airplane mode. You can put me on.
Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, countrymen, black people, white people, my people, people. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Flight, baby. Hey, KG, hold on. Let me see how you feel on this. What up? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tuesday Night Flight. We are here to entertain, do some crazy things, take things off the hook, put them back on the hook, disconnected, reconnected, get you going through the sports world, one sport at a time. This is what we do. It's the Tuesday Night Flight. I'm the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy, KG. And what we're going to do is we're going to do like we do it in our circle. We're going to go Tribe Called Quest. So he's going to be the leader. And I'm going to just represent, do my thing. I'm going to give him Fife. He giving y'all Q-tip. So let's go. KG.
All right. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Flight presented by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. If you're tuning in right after you've watched Unapologetic Sports that was seen here on the network right before us, welcome. For those of you that don't know already, to hear the audio version of this show, you'll be able to hear it tomorrow morning at about 8 a.m., 9 a.m. maybe, depends on how we feeling, but you'll be able to catch that. So, first and foremost, Midnight Rider, thank you for that rousing introduction. How are you feeling?
I'm good, sir. Quite pleasant, sir.
That
My
is
day
good
went
to hear.
swimmingly.
You say what?
My day went swimmingly.
Oh, that is magnificent. Magnanimous. Ooh, boy, it's gonna be one of them nights. I love it. Let's get it. So gotta do this the correct way. Start this off. We got an RIP. And our RIP is none other than Rod Martin of the Oakland and Los Angeles Raiders. He did play with the Raiders when they moved to LA. So Oakland and Los Angeles Raiders, he passed away on April 18th, which was Saturday. Wasn't reported until, I believe, Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Two-time Super Bowl champion. First team All-Pro in 84, second team All-Pro in 83, two-time Pro Bowl in 83 and 84. Went to USC and was a first-time All-Pac 8 in 76. Had 33 and a half sacks, a safety, 14 interceptions, 225 yards and interception yards, and 10 fumble recoveries with 6 defensive touchdowns. Now, for those of you that are young and may not know how great of an impact Rod Martin had, stats don't tell a story, but he had one of the most stellar performances in Super Bowl 15, which was against the Eagles. That defense battered Ron Jaworski. I believe he picked off 2 or 3 passes in that. And I actually have a card. And one of the things that I pride myself on with my Super Bowl knowledge is having the cards of Super Bowl Supermen that Pro Set put out back in 1989. He was one of the Super Bowl Supermen that was highlighted in that card set. So I've known about Rod Martin since I was about 8 years old. And watching the highlights of him and, the highlights from Super Bowl 18 when the Los Angeles Raiders this time beat the Washington Redskins. Rod Martin was another key contributor in that, along with Jack Squirek. And I'm drawing a blank now. Kids played in the league too. Can't think of the name, but he blocked the kick. So that he was a part of that vaunted defense of the late 70s and early 80s of the Raiders. What continued the tradition of the black hole and vicious defenses, he was a part of it. He was a part of that linebacking core with Matt Millen and company. So rest in peace to Rob Martin, a true Super Bowl Superman, and quite possibly got one of the coolest cards that I've ever seen. Is him coming across the middle with the ball coming this way, and it's just settling in his hands. He picking it off, and everybody always say he should have been MVP as well. So Midnight Rider.
I just remember the 53. I think that's the first Super Bowl I remember. The Wilbert Montgomery / Oakland Raiders versus, what year was that? Was that 80?
Yep.
And then 81 was the Bengals and the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the first one Super Bowl I remember watching. Because I think they even came on midday. Like, it wasn't this thing where it came on at 6 p.m. I think the Super Bowl was on like around 4:15 or 4:30. And I could be off, but that's just how I felt it happened during that time of my life, because sports did happen earlier. Go ahead, KJ.
No, I'm sitting here because when you said that, I didn't want to jump in. I wanted to let you finish. But I was going to say to you, I can actually find out for you right now. I can go pull up the ticket stub out of the book, and I can find out what time it started.
I just knew you got giddy. And that's why I was like, that's why I didn't even finish my statement. I was like, oh boy. But no, I know. I think that's one of the things I feel bad for kids these days is your sports don't happen while you're awake. So you don't see the great finishes. You know, you got to come back and watch them on Sports Center, or you got to have a great parent that allows you, that understands that sports are more important. And yeah, you might be tired at school, but if you want to watch more sports and it's important to you, you'll make sure your butt is up, ready to go for school the next day. I told this story many times in this network of how I wanted to go see Art Monks break the record against Denver Monday night. And I had a nice, loving conversation with my father about making sure that I was able to get my black behind up the next morning, because it was a Monday night game. And he didn't want my mom to have no problems because he left out the house at 5 and I had to be up and ready to go. So, yeah. So this whole Rod Martin thing, he was I don't know. I don't remember him as a Pro Bowler. He probably was one, but it just didn't stick out in my mind. I do remember his Super Bowl conquest. I almost felt like he was like one of those guys, like a Mr. Super Bowl. Like when the Super Bowl came up, you knew he was going to make a play or make plays. So that's how I always remember him. I know he probably made plays during the season, but it was just funny how that kind of transpired. And I had that kind of thought process of him. Oh God. Go ahead and get that Adina Howard CD out.
No, it was mostly Adina Howard posters, but no Adina Howard CD this time.
Oh, okay.
But go ahead. I'm listening.
But no. I mean, that's all I got on Rod Martin. It's just he was just one of those guys. He was a consummate playmaker. I don't know. I don't remember enough of his career where I can say, oh, he was a Pro Bowler. He was this. He was that. I just remember the moments. You know, he always had a big moment in games. So he'll be missed. I know he has family, and they'll miss him too. But yeah.
Just for reference, that's the ticket made by ProSet with the actual stats and everything. That's where a lot of my knowledge over the years has come from, is reading the back of these cards, you know, sitting in the living room reading the back of these cards constantly.
Captain Nostalgia.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in the house, and it was always, there it is. Knew I'd find it. That's how I know about Rod Martin right there.
Oh, I had that.
So I always thought that was one of the coolest cards. So just thought I'd share that with you. Huh?
That came out 80. Was that in the set from 88 or 89?
89. This was the Super Bowl 25
Okay.
commemorative set.
Okay. Yeah, I had that at some point.
I searched and I wouldn't pull the trigger on it. And my lovely wife pulled the trigger and surprised me with it because my original one had actually got stolen. It
Okay.
got stolen when I was in school. So I was able to get that back, and now I got them all locked away in the book. So as you said, rest in peace, Rob Martin. Respectfully, we'll move on.
Let's do it this way.
Yes,
We don't
sir.
normally, and it's not. This is not going to be a self-promotion show for the Midnight Rider today. I promise you. So let's take a quick break. And then ladies and gentlemen, we just put a bow on our rest in peace segment, and now we're going to go ahead and get started with the main parts of the show. We always like to show respect, but we also want to just get moving and get back to the true essence of the show. I'm the Midnight Rider. He's the big guy, KG. This is the Tuesday Night Flight, brought to you by the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. And with that being said, I will turn the show back over to you, KG.
All right. Midnight Rider. We had some breaking news that happened earlier today. One was shocking. One made me happy. One made me kind of uneasy. Billy Donovan steps down in Chicago. Steve Kerr steps down in Golden State. If you don't know by now, you are new here. Billy Donovan stepping down in Chicago has made me extremely ecstatic. Steve Kerr stepping down in Golden State has made me a little uneasy. Now, I'm going to do my journalistic due diligence first before my fandom takes over. So, Midnight Rider. These two coaches, one quite possibly will be inducted in the Hall of Fame in the very near future for his coaching accolades and his front office work. The other will probably make the Hall of Fame for what he did in the college ranks, but nonetheless, still a Hall of Fame coach. Your thoughts on these two gentlemen stepping down?
I think Billy Donovan was more of a thing of having to step down because it took too long for Chicago to figure out what they wanted to do. And I think the plan was so backwards and so misguided that it didn't make sense to him to stay. I just wish he had figured it out a little bit sooner, because maybe we wouldn't have Mike Malone at UNC. Maybe we'd have Billy Donovan. But Chicago did let go of his GM and I think their team president a couple weeks ago. So this was just like, it just didn't make sense for Jerry Reinsdorf to sit there and be like, oh, whoever the new GM and president is has to accept Billy Donovan as their coach. It just didn't make sense at all. And if you're building a team or you're constructing a staff or coaches, it just doesn't make sense for it to be that way. You know what I'm saying? This is almost like Jim Zorn getting hired to be the offensive coordinator, then having to go pick up his suit because now he's the head coach. That's how that felt.
I agree with you 1,000% because something you said that resonated within my soul. Chicago didn't know what they were going to do. And this has been a rudderless ship. And I give Billy Donovan a lot of sugar honey iced tea as a fan, but to do my journalistic due diligence, what I said, Billy Donovan was thrown into a proverbial meat grinder with what was going on in Chicago. When he had something going, they broke it up. Well, no, let me rephrase that. When he had something going, Lonzo Ball got hurt and was out indefinitely. We didn't know how long he was going to be out. Then you kind of sort of get it going with Levine and DeMar DeRozan. You wind up shipping Levine off. You shipped DeMar DeRozan off. You shipped Alex Caruso off. You shipped Ball off. You shipped off all his pieces. Then he had a young piece, Ayo Dosunmu. You shipped him off. You don't bring back. You ship off Vucevic. You know, you don't bring guys back that were working in the system, and it's like, okay, he's given scraps and told to go make a 5-star Michelin meal. So this was a bad situation, not just this season, but every season since 22-23, it's been a bad situation for Billy Donovan in Chicago. Looking at the stats in 2021 when he took over in season 2020/21. The Bulls were 31-41 his first year, missed the playoffs. His second year, 46-36, and they lost in the first round 4-1. Third year, 40-42. Fourth year, 39-43. And the fifth year, 39-43. And then this year passed 31-51 and missed the playoffs the last 4 straight years. That's not a winning formula. You can't win like that when you don't have the ingredients to win. So
you're spinning your wheels. You're the hamster on the wheel that's sprinting hard, but you're not going anywhere. This is what people talk about when people are upset about the Wizards tanking and trying to do something different. Yeah, you're gonna have the 3 losing seasons, Chris Russell, but you put yourself in a better position going forward than if you're sitting here and you're doing the dance that Chicago did. I mean, I know for a fact that you weren't happy, you were frustrated, and you were disappointed the whole time. I got great joy out of it because I love it when Chicago is bad. So I apologize for taking joy in your pain. But the whole situation is when these teams do this and get stuck in this rinse, recycle, and go back and do everything again, and they get in those traffic holding patterns, it's not good because you can't make your team better. You know, they did get a nice hit with the kid Basilius. I think he's going to be something nice. I think Giddey can be okay. But after that, I mean, it's just one of those things where I think it's going to be a struggle. I think they got to figure out one or the other. They can't just keep rolling back out saying, "Oh, this is what we're going to do," because it's not going to work.
Agreed. Now let me take my journalistic cap off. You know, the fedora with the little thing in the joint to say press.
Right.
Let me take that off and put on my Chicago Bulls starter hat. Because you got to fold the hat, then you got to turn the hat. So let me put this on and put my fandom on. Billy Donovan was not the type of coach that we needed in Chicago. We needed a coach that was going to put boots to asses. Billy Donovan, is he a good coach? Yes. I think he's good with young men, but these vets and these older cats didn't respond to him the way he thought that they would. Just the same way that Fred Hoiberg didn't work out. At one point, Vinny Del Negro didn't work out. Billy Donovan didn't work out. We had we could have had Adrian Griffin, to be honest. Look at what Adrian Griffin did in Milwaukee. And they let him go with a winning record. He hasn't gotten another job. I mean, hell, I wouldn't mind having him come in here and coach these young boys up. But one thing we have to do is with the young cats, we have a very, very young team. Kobe White, it seems like he's going to be the leader on this team, and that's not saying much. I mean, he's my guy, but he's a sixth man. He's not a starter in this league. He's a sixth man. I'm being realistic here. He's your firecracker. He's your Vinny Johnson off the bench. He's your firecracker off the bench. In the starting lineup, it doesn't work out the same way. But you got to put somebody in the front office that knows how to evaluate talent. Somebody in the front office that knows how to draft. Because not getting the return on guys that we're drafting is what's killing us. You're drafting guys either in the lottery or just outside of the lottery, and we're not getting a return on investment. Our ROI does not compute with where these guys were taking at. Then we're picking up guys, Marvin Bagley, and what was the other cat that we picked up? I can't think of his name. Went to Maryland. We had him for a little bit. Didn't work. They wound up shipping those guys out. I'm tired of this revolving door with players. Nothing sticks. Nobody ever comes in. This team has been destroyed. And I'll say it. I'll say it now and I'll say it again. This team has been destroyed and in shambles since the day that they decided to fire Tom Thibodeau. Then when you fire Tom Thibodeau, you trade Derrick Rose. Exactly 1 year later, after you trade Derrick Rose, you trade Jimmy G. Buckets. The G stands for gets. You cannot think that you traded your 2 franchise players. You got rid of the coach that took you to the conference finals 2 out of the 3 years. You got rid of everything that got you there and got nothing in return. The drafts have been horrible. The free agent signings have been horrible. What we got back in return, not even good. DeMar DeRozan shouldn't have never left out of Chicago. He should still be a Chicago Bull. Lonzo Ball should still be a Chicago Bull. As much as I really didn't like Zach LaVine in Chicago, he should still be a Chicago Bull. That should be our 3-headed monster right now, and we're building around it.
I think you still
Vucevic should still be in Chicago.
I think you still stuck in glue.
Huh?
I think you still just spinning your wheels. I think they have to do something different. I think they picked the wrong players to move. I think they moved DeMar because they could move him, and then they had to wait until somebody decided to take DeMar DeRozan off their hands. So I don't know.
Yeah,
DeMar DeRozan,
I'll give you that. Nobody wanted to take Levine's contract, and then they found a partner, and it happened. So let me take my fandom hat off, put my press hat back on, and we'll talk Steve Kerr stepping down in Golden State after being there for 12 seasons.
Hey, can I interrupt you? I'm a crowbar something in here. You tell me if this sounds familiar. It's not exactly sports related, but the words go, I was working part-time in a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr. McGee. He told me several times he didn't like my kind because I was a bit too leisurely. Seems that I was busy, close to doing something close to nothing, but different than the day before. That's when I saw her. Ooh, I saw her. She walked in through the outdoor. Any comments? Any thoughts?
She wore a raspberry beret, the kind you find at a secondhand store.
Preach now, brother, preach.
A raspberry beret.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was more warm, she wouldn't wear much more.
Let them use you, brother. Let them use you. I'm sorry. You was too dialed in on Billy. I had to break you a little bit, man. I'm sorry.
I understand. See, this is why we do this. But today of all days to do it, raspberry beret. It's been 10 years since we lost the purple one. That was quite great of an intro. I'm sorry, of a crowbar right there. That was good. That was good.
Man.
Appreciate that. Now, Steve Kerr started out in Golden State 2014, 2015. Won a championship his first year. Also the coach of the second greatest team of all time, the 73-9, 2015, 2016 Golden State Warriors. Why do I say that they're the second greatest team? Because 73-9 is good, but 72-10 got a ring to it.
I knew that was coming.
He went to the NBA Finals not once, not twice, 4 times in a row. Nope, I'm sorry, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times in a row. Only missed the playoffs 4 seasons out of 12. 2 losing seasons. and he steps down. I guess he's stepping down for health reasons. I didn't hear the reason why he stepped down, so I'll toss it over to you, Midnight Rider.
I think this is one of them situations where, as a coach, you get into that realm with. Think about it like this: we had Tomlin and Harbaugh step away from their respective teams, not all the coaching responsibilities, and I think Kerr is doing something similar. I think it's kind of time for him to just sit back, relax. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know what his health concern is either. But if there's a health concern, it's one thing. But if it's something else, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on Amazon Prime or NBC or some form of the NBA coverage of the playoffs and basketball going forward.
Ooh, man, it's funny as hell you say that. You know why? Because before Steve Kerr became the voice of the Golden State Warriors, he was the voice of NBA 2K. He was also on, I believe, ABC broadcasts as well. And his knowledge of the game is something that is very, very underappreciated, because you got to think who he's played for. He's played for three of the greatest coaches of all time.
All right.
He played for Lenny Wilkins, Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich. And then I won't say, every coach that he played for was great, but he played for some damn good coaches, and he learned some things. And that's why I think what makes him a great coach. But, man, if he decides to go to the booth, that would be absolutely awesome, because he makes great TV. But now if he decides to go to the front office, remember, he was in the front office in Phoenix. And Phoenix was a perennial championship contender. They just couldn't compete in the playoffs with D'Antoni's system. But he helped build that. So I hope like hell it's not health related. But I think it's more along the lines of what you guys say. You and the boss BJ always say, sometimes you got to hear another voice.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's where it's at.
And it's nothing against him as a coach. It's just like, I mean, you think about it, 12 years, and every time you get in a certain situation, you already know what the coach is going to say. You over there mimicking what he about to say because you done heard it for 12 years, No, that's like us. And I'm going to sit here, and at some point, we're going to talk about somebody getting traded. You're going to be over there like, he about to say addition by subtraction. And then it's addition by subtraction. Or you're going to say the 1962 MVP race, and I'm going to be over here like, yeah.
The greatest MVP race of all time. I got you. But I'm going to say something. I'm going to put it out there. This seems like a shot. And you know what? It ain't seeming like a shot. It is a shot. But you got to get tired sometimes coaching a Draymond Green. For as great of a talent as he is, sometimes he is trying. And it's like,
but it's not just, but you got to think about it. We see the Draymond part of it.
Yes.
It's the constant, hey, we're in this city this week. We here, you got to fly into Utah. If y'all get in after a certain time, what are you going to eat? Because all the places closed in Utah. When you go to Atlanta, are you getting the Lou Williams wings, or it's just all that stuff that's happening, and it's just like you kind of get stuck in a rut. So
I give you that.
Yeah, you just gotta figure it out, man. So I just think sometimes you gotta take a break.
I agree. Sometimes you got to take a break and you got to step back, spend time with family. I mean, his son's on the coaching staff, so that's a beautiful thing as well. So that, you know, the
So
question that I want.
that means he'll go somewhere, get a gig, and he'll be in the third chair, maybe the second chair on somebody's coaching staff. You know, charting plays or charting stats, and yeah, he'll live a good life.
Well, let me ask you this before we go into the playoff update. In your honest, expert, humble opinion, what is next, or should I say, who is next for Chicago or Chicago and Golden State?
That's a great question, and I don't know because it's happened today. I don't have a good insight or thought process on the way they go. I think it's hard to bring a young guy in the Golden State because they've been doing it for so long. So you may have to get a veteran guy. I just don't know who that veteran guy is that is looking for a new job. Um, for Chicago, you can go young, like a guy like the guy that used to coach Memphis. Was it Jacobs? I think his name is. Like he's a guy that's a guy that could go in there and potentially, you know, maybe give them something new, give them some information, and they can work backwards from that. So we'll see.
All right.
I don't have any predictions yet. I'll put you that way.
Okay. Just looking at who's available. Tom Thibodeau, Mike Budenholzer, Taylor Jenkins, and Terry Stotts, along with Becky
That's
Hammond. I don't know. Huh?
I'm sorry. Taylor is Jenkins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Taylor Jenkins.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Okay. And Becky Hammond, and I don't know why JJ Redick is available, but JJ Redick's on this list. I don't know why, but maybe they know something we don't know. But you got guys. Rayshawn Rondo is a top assistant. You could poach somebody from the college. Dan Hurley, Jay Wright.
You don't want Dan Hurley nowhere near your program if you're an NBA team. It's that's ass backwards. Nah, he's just too demanding. His style he'll make it he'll make it the first month and already have 3 fights and 2 black eyes. So you don't want Dan Hurley coaching a bunch of grown men.
All right, we see you, Maddie. He said he got done a bit early. Give him about 10, 15 minutes. That's awesome. That is perfect. Okay. So we can go ahead and segue right into the NBA update.
You mean NHL?
Well, he got 10, 15 minutes. We'll segue into the NBA and then go to the NHL. So that give us 15 minutes to do the NHL.
Okay.
Whew, this is what it's like on the fly. What was that? Yesterday. We got games in progress now. 76ers are up on the Celtics, 62-50. Celtics lead that series 1-0. Blazers are beating the brakes off the Spurs right now, but it's early. Still first quarter, 19-9. Rockets versus Lakers. I'm sorry, San Antonio leads that series 1-0. Rockets versus Lakers is later on tonight at 10:30. Lakers lead that 1-0. Yesterday's games, the Raptors beat the Cavaliers 115-105. For the Raptors, Scotty Barnes gave you 26, RJ Barrett 22, Murray Boyles gave you 17, Walter gave you 14. For the Cavaliers, Mobley gave you 25.
I'm sorry. No, I see VJ Edgecombe's got 20 points in the first half against the Celtics. Tell people, man, when I see certain things, man.
Well, you called it. He's going to be your rookie of the year, so.
Nah, I don't think he's going to be your rookie of the year.
You
Because
don't
I
think
think he's gonna be
Newcomb's
averaging.
gonna beat him out?
I think Flag's. I think it's Flag's award to lose, and I think Flag has done enough to. Because I think Flag averages 20. I think he's 26 or 20-7. He's going to do just enough to win it.
Mm.
Because I think Edgecombe's only like at 16. And I think I said this before. I think if Edgecombe didn't have to deal with, like, if PG could have gotten moved or Embiid could have gotten moved, I think he'd have been in a better place. But by having all four of them together, it's just not enough basketballs to get everybody to get him consistent numbers. I'll say it that way.
Okay. Allen gave you 10, Harden gave you 28, Mitchell gave you 30. Any thoughts on Cavaliers Raptors game 2? And the Cavaliers lead that series 2-0.
Cavaliers are doing what they're supposed to be doing, man. Cavaliers should be their job is to go through this series, play as little games as possible. Don't play with your food. Hopefully come away with a gentleman's sweep in the worst case scenario, or in the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, you play the 6 games. But I don't think they want to get to 6 games because I think the pressure is going to be a lot because this team is expected to go to the conference championship. So, yeah.
Okay. Next up, series tied at 1-1. The Hawks beat the Knicks 107-106. For the Hawks, Johnson gave you 17, 32 from McCollum. Kuminga gave you 19. For the Knicks, Anobi gave you 14, Hart gave you 15, Towns gave you 18, Bridges gave you 10, missed the game-winning field goal, but it's okay. Brunson gave you 29, and Robinson gave you 13 off the bench. I think we talked about stealing one, but I think we were talking about the Knicks stealing one in Atlanta. The Hawks stole one in New York. What are your thoughts?
Hey, man. Your boy Rick Brunson better he gonna wish he had Thibodeau. Because they done figured it out. I think his number is 11. And when it got tough last night, or the Hawks needed a basket, they called hot 11. So whoever he was guarding was the screener, and CJ McCollum came off that screen, and what's my boys that sung Renee?
The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys, Mr. Cheeks.
Yeah, it was it was time for the Lost Boys. It was like cameras in action. And they put him in on Front Street, and they took advantage of him the whole time down the stretch. So they don't have to, New York's going to make an adjustment. I don't know. It's not going to be you're not going to play him during that stretch because it's late ball game situations. But there's got to be an adjustment. Whether instead of switching everything, you got to blitz it and get the basketball out of maybe McCollum's hands. But all that means is McCollum will just pass and then reset and then get the ball back and still put Brunson, in the words of MC Hammer, in the mix. So, Hammer, I am. I'm sorry.
As you can see, the shoulders already started working when you said that. Because my mind had already started working. All I heard was, "They put me in a mix," and you gotta get the typewriter going. But
no, hey man, this is what we do all the time, man. We go off the rails at times. But no, it's just I think that's the scenario. Is I think the Hawks may have found something. Now it's up to New York to make the adjustment, and figure out how they want to handle that adjustment. Because McCollum was out there putting people in the spin cycle.
I love that. I'm coming, Matty. I got you, brother. Next up, series tied at 1-1. And what's crazy is most people had this going. Oh, excuse me. Most people had this going to a sweep. I did not. Hold on. Let me hit send on this. The Nuggets take an L to the Timberwolves. Come on. 119-114. Series tied at 1 apiece. Randall gave you 24. McDaniels gave you 14. DiVincenzo gave you 16. Anthony Edwards gave you 30. Reed gave you 11 off the bench. For the Nuggets, Johnson gave you 13. Jokic gave you 24. Braun gave you 16. 30 for Murray. 16 for Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench. Midnight Rider, what you got?
It's gonna be interesting, man. I'm sorry, I just drifted off because I got a message. I had to check something out. What series we talking about?
Timberwolves Nuggets.
Oh, okay. So this is one of them series where I think I heard a stat today that these teams in their last 30 matchups, the win-loss record is 15-15. So I don't know if somebody expected a sweep. I think they were expecting that sweep because they were buying heavy in on the Ant Edwards knee situation. I don't know how bad his knee is, but because these teams play each other so tough and so tight the whole time, it's gonna be interesting what comes out of this, because we're talking about a team in Minnesota that's been to the conference championship game the last 2 years. So they got the experience, they got the dog in them. The question is, are they gonna have enough to close this out and make it a situation where they can win this series, or be competitive enough to push them to 6-7 games? So that becomes the whole question right there.
All right. So for more in-depth analysis on the NBA playoffs, please tune in tomorrow night at 7:30, where you go 30 minutes around the association with this gentleman right here beside me, the Midnight Rider, and C. Perry II on Nothing But Net, seen right here on the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. Now, let's bring in our resident hockey expert, host of Drive Time, which can be seen here on Mondays at 5 p.m. None other than Matty Ice. Matty, how you feeling?
How are you doing, guys? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
you're good, man.
All right. I'm going through the car, so you never know how the audio is going to sound. So I didn't want it to be muddled pieces of crap coming through to you.
Nah, you're perfect, dog. You're actually
Great.
your voice is perfect, straight up, sound good. I like to
Sweet.
thank you for the People's Mock for the second year. It was a good time to be had by all. I'm happy because I got Nancy now, so we can get Nancy in the rotation. So good times, man.
Yeah, it was a good show yesterday for sure. We even ran a little early, so I was pleasantly surprised. So
I thought you was gonna do your regular show first and then jump into it, but it makes sense because you can give people, if you say we start at 5, you can give people concrete times of when you're going to the next thing. So it made all the sense in the world.
yeah, it was a good time had by all for sure. Now the fun will be seeing how these picks all play out on Thursday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So what do you guys want? What do you want to talk about?
Hey, hit us off with the NHL playoff update. I mean, get us right, get us caught up.
Let's do it this way, because the first one is kind of the shocker right now. Philadelphia's up 2-0 on Pittsburgh, so kind of talk about that to get us started.
Yeah, I mean, Valdar for Philly has been really, really good in goal. Skinner's been okay in goal for Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh's just been really flat these last 2 games. Like and Crosby was hurt in the Olympics. He did play towards the end, but something doesn't quite seem right with Crosby. Like he's just not at full speed in my view yet. And Philly's played a really good, sound defensive game. I mean, hell, in the middle of the second period in that game too yesterday, the shots were 9-5 in favor of Philly. So just not getting a lot of scoring opportunities at all right now as Pittsburgh in the first two games. So yeah, it's a bit of a surprise. I honestly thought it'd be the other way around. I thought Pittsburgh would handle Philly pretty easily. I think most people did. So maybe Philly's going in with the chip on the shoulder because of that. But they're just playing really, really good team defense, and Pittsburgh just hasn't been able to break through.
Let's skip to actually, let me ask you this question, because I got a nice message earlier this week on Instagram from a friend who lives in Montreal, and I guess there's steps to a cathedral where people literally crawl up the steps of the cathedral when the Canadians are in the playoffs. Do you have any knowledge of this?
I do not, because that's one of the places where I've yet to get to a game to that I want to get to at one point in time. But I just have not been up to Montreal yet. So no, I've not heard of that, but that would sound like something that would happen in Montreal for sure.
So I'll send you the video. It's on my Instagram. I think you have Instagram. I'll send you a message. But yeah, so basically, there's a box at the steps of this church. It's called the Basilica. And people literally go up the steps of the Basilica on their knees, and the Basilica provides knee pads for them to go up the steps on their knees. I don't know what kind of sign it is, to whether it's to the hockey gods or to their god. I don't know.
If they're giving them knee pads, they better be hockey knee pads, because if so, then that's fulfilling the bit to the fullest extent, you know.
And you know how we feel about bits on this station.
That's right. I want the hockey knee pads.
So yeah. So I gotta figure that out. I'll reach back out because one of our friends moved up to Montreal the last couple months. So I'll
definitely
more.
I'll ask Neil too, because Jeff's actually been up there for a game. I'm a little bit jealous of him on that one, that he's actually hit a game there.
All right, so let me stop diverting us from what you came here to talk about. Let's go. What's the next series that you want to talk about? If you got something that's on your mind.
Well, you know what series is near and dear to my heart, which is Carolina and Ottawa. An incredible, crazy game that went to double overtime, last night. And in the first overtime, it appears that Carolina has scored the game-winning goal. But lo and behold, after an 11-minute decision of an offsides call, they waved the goal off at the same time, because on that play, Jordan Martinook was hooked from behind. There was a penalty shot. So it goes from a goal to no goal to a penalty shot that Martinook doesn't score on. But Carolina does, of course, get the second goal later, or the overtime winner later in the second overtime. But there's a lot of controversy on that offsides, because there's this thing at the NHL where if a player is skating backwards into the zone, where technically their feet enter the zone first, but they have possession control of the puck, it's not offside. So Stahl gets the puck right at the blue line. It's a bang call. Like, when you slow it down, was he probably offsides? Maybe, because I don't know that he really had possession and control. But what really pissed me off about this is because then after that, like, Raleigh has, which I hate, they have this strict rule at that stupid arena where if you leave, you cannot come back in. So they did not announce to the crowd that the play was being reviewed. They didn't announce anything. So people started leaving and going home thinking Carolina had just won. So then, everyone's on all the social media posts I saw today are, oh, look, Carolina doesn't care. They're not even in the building in the second overtime. No, they all left, but they couldn't come back in because they wouldn't let them back in. So, like, let's just, be smart about the narrative there. It's not that building was rocking. It still is rocking with even the fewer people in the seats that they would not let back in. So no, it's not that Raleigh doesn't care about hockey or isn't a good hockey atmosphere. It's simply they wouldn't let them back into the damn building.
Damn, that's crazy. So let's talk Canadians Lightning. Right now it's 1-1. Yeah, little second. Montreal is up 1. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I've not seen any obviously tonight because I just got off the ice
Right.
myself yet. But I mean, I think that series is gonna. It has all the signs of being a long series. Montreal wins game one in overtime after a really bad penalty by Gensel at the end of the third period, where he's swinging his stick trying to hit a puck that's up in the air, and instead of getting the puck, gets the Montreal guy's face and gives him a power play to start the overtime. And Montreal's power play is really good, and Slavkovsky buries his third to get the hat trick. So that's how they win game one, and that was back and forth. Not really a great game for Vasilevsky in goal for Tampa Bay. Probably one of his softer games that I've seen in the playoffs for a while. So that will be something interesting to watch. But this series has all the makings of going 6 or 7 games. Both teams are really good, but Tampa Bay's making some uncharacteristic mistakes through the first couple of games that Montreal's taking advantage of, and Tampa Bay's going to have to correct that if they're going to want this series to go longer and be in it.
The great hope of Buffalo against the Bruins. Buffalo comes back, wins 4-3. They keep hope alive, and I see that their fans actually have a Buffalo Bruins dummy that they beat up or throw
Yeah,
punches at before every
they
game.
did. As long as they're only beating up a dummy and not actual fans, and that's cool with me. Yeah, that first game was crazy. Boston's up 2-0. That they sucked the life out of that building. That at one point in time, the Buffalo fans were actually booing, which I thought was okay. You guys haven't been in the playoffs for 14 years. It's your first game. Like, give this team some time and a chance. And then lo and behold, in that third period, they get one goal. That was a good goal. Swayman gives up a second goal. That's a little and then now you're playing with fire, and Buffalo rolls off 4 goals to win the game 4-3. So that's the thing with a team that's never been in the playoffs. Once you start giving them some hope and belief, that can be a bad thing. So again, same thing. That one started 7:30 tonight. I have no idea what the hell's going on in that game yet tonight, but I'll catch up once I get home.
It's nothing right now. Into the first period. Tonight also we got Mammoth versus the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights are up 1-0. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this first game we were close to. It was a 4-2 game, empty net goal that made it 4-2. Utah's going to give Vegas fits. They're a good team. It's just, but Vegas is the same thing. They've got a lot of playoff experience. They've been there before. I'm not thrilled that they're starting Carter Hart in the goal for other reasons and stuff like that. But that's a whole different story for a different time. So I picked Utah to win this series because I think that they can win it. That was my upset pick for round one. So we'll see. I'm not hitting the panic button after one game yet. They played them tough, just couldn't get enough goals at the end.
All right, finishing up tonight's slate, we got Kings and the Avalanche. With the Avalanche up 1-0. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Avs won the first game 2-1, a little bit closer than LA played them really good. I was a little bit surprised by that, but Colorado's the best team in the playoffs. And LA just don't think they're going to have enough weapons. So, Anton Forsberg played really well in goal for LA and kept that game 2-1. So we'll see. My gut is I think Colorado wins tonight, probably a little bit easier than what the first game was.
All right, let's finish off the West with tomorrow's 2 games. I'm not worried about Penguins plus, so we kind of already talked about it. So Stars versus the Wild. Series tied at 1-1. Any thoughts? That starts at 9:30.
That was a big game for Dallas because they had to win that game too. Minnesota just absolutely rolled them in game one. Jake Ottinger did not look good. And again, Ottinger and Hallebuck have always been the 2 goalies out west that haven't had that big prove it series yet to show that they are the best of the best. And he got rolled in game one, but he came back, had a really good, strong game too. So did Dallas. Again, these were the second, third best teams out west. They just hadn't have to play each other. So again, this series has all the makings of 7 games, and Dallas, they had to win that game too. You can't go into Minnesota down 2-0. So they did what they had to do. Now the question will be is can Dallas steal one in Minnesota, which I think that they will, and then you come back home at 2-2. So again, that series has 7 games written all over it to me.
And before I turn this over to KG, Oilers Ducks. Edmonton up 1-0. Do the Ducks have a chance? Can the Ducks fly?
Yeah, that game was crazy last night too because Edmonton gets off to the 2-0 start, and you're like, oh, okay, Edmonton's on a roll here. Here they go. And then Anaheim scores 3 goals in the second period at the end to go up 3-2, and you're like, oh no, here we go again, the same old Edmonton Oilers. But just like Edmonton's always done in the first round, they get down and they come back in the third period, and they score 2 of their own on the third period to win the game 4-3. So I don't really like Anaheim's chances unless Edmonton plays with them. And again, how many years have we said it before for Edmonton? It's going to come down to goaltending. Ingram was not great last night. He was good enough, but I think they'll get by Anaheim, but it's going to be the next series, and then definitely whenever they get Colorado, Dallas, or Minnesota, where I think long-term that goaltending is going to catch up to Edmonton. I just don't think they have enough, but they should win this series.
AG, all you, baby.
Man, Maddie was hitting on so many points. I'm looking and I'm looking down. I'm like, oh, he didn't got to that. He didn't got to that. He didn't got to that. I'm ticking off all my questions. Like, damn, he didn't got to all this. He hitting on all cylinders, but I want to ask one question. Are the Florida Panthers really healthy enough to make a deep run despite some major injuries that they've had over the course of the season?
Well, they're not. They did not qualify for the playoffs, so no, they will not make a deep run.
Well, that's that. I try to get these daggone questions right.
Now, here's a better question.
That's my fault.
No. That's a good question, but here's one that I think we should ask while you're here with us, because Scooter would probably be the second best person to ask this question, and Jeff No would be the third. But what's the OV number? If OV wants to come back and play next year, do you go 11, 12 million for OV for one more year, or 2 more years, or do you go 7, 8 million? Like,
my gut
that makes you say, no. Go ahead.
He's only going to play a year. I think he'll only sign. I think he's going to go year by year from here on out. I'd be shocked if he signs a 2-year deal, but he might. Knowing Ovi, could he get $11-12 million from the Caps? Probably he could. Will he take that much from them? I don't think so. I think that 7 to 8 range kind of seems like a good landing spot. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he signed a really team-friendly deal between the 4 to 6 number, but I don't know if the league would be too thrilled about that, or the Players Association probably would not be too thrilled about that. So probably somewhere more in that 5 to 8 for a 1-year deal kind of seems like where Ovi I think will end up going. I don't think that he'll make the Caps overpay to keep him for another year, unless there's just something going on where he just starts really threatening to go back to Russia. But I mean, he says his kid wants to see him play more. His kids are at the age where I think if that's the case, he's going to want to see him play in the NHL, not in the KHL. So I think he's definitely coming back, and I think probably in that 5 to 8 range seems like a good number.
All right. So the only reason I asked that question that way is because TJ Oshie did a podcast a couple days ago, and he was talking about, he thought that Alex would take a Alex-friendly deal, not a team-friendly deal. So that's kind of why I asked you that question.
Yeah, I mean, he could go and say, look, I want to get paid, but that doesn't strike me as Ovi, like not the last few years. I think if he wants to come back, it's going to be to win a cup, and I think he knows his best way to do that is to give the Caps, literally some cap space to be able to do that.
Okay. KG?
Well, I mean, ChatGPT made me look like an idiot, so I'm in the process of deleting that because I needed help with some things. So I knew what to ask Maddie, and ChatGPT made me look like an idiot. So I'm really upset.
It's all good. I mean,
so don't erase that. Just hold on to it, because when I need to make a comic strip, I'll send it to you, and maybe you. That way, when they cut me off, because they cut me off all the time.
I will say this for Florida. I mean, like, it's not, and they did have the injuries this year for sure too. But like, you got to remember too, that was 3 straight cup runs that they went on, and I think they finally, that the players just hit empty, and that'll be the same thing you can see still with Edmonton. They're on their third, they've had 3 straight years. They're in the playoffs. Like, at some point in time, does the gas tank hit empty?
I agree. Totally agree. KG?
right. Well, I mean, that's all I had. I'm able to settle in the next couple of nights. Well, not Thursday night, but I'm able to settle in tonight to watch some hockey after the show, and I'll be able to settle in probably Friday night, but maybe even tomorrow night too. It's not Thursday, but tomorrow night I'll be able to settle in and really be able to be a little bit more informed. So.
And keep an eye out on Messenger for for our chat, because I sent you guys the link for we're doing that overtime challenge. So you get to pick one player from each team, and if they score, then you win. You get a point. Whoever at the end can have bragging rights. So far, Vic Carr is 2 for 2 so far. He got Jordan Martinook and Slavkowski, so he's the only one that's got 2 points so far.
All right, yeah, I'll try to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I definitely will. I told Midnight Rider, I said, Maddie, going the bracket challenge we did for the NHL playoffs. I don't have a dog in the fight, so I was like, hell, I'm rolling with Maddie's Canes, man.
I'll take it. I'm happy with the first 2 games. Granted, they're both at home, but Ottawa's a tough team, and Allmark played really well last night, and that was the game last night that in years past the Canes have lost. Like, they've gotten to double overtime, they've kind of dominated the team, and then the other team goes down and scores a fluke goal and wins the game. That didn't happen last night, so I'm kind of liking that. That's a different thing than what's happened the last couple of years.
All right, man.
All right,
well, Maddie, thank you for your time, man. We thank you for jumping in with us, because I mean, you know how I feel and we feel about you. Don't forget Thursday. You know, you are first on the clock.
Yep.
With probably the easiest pick of all picks. So
yeah, I don't have much to probably get upset about with what the Raiders will do on Thursday. So yeah, but I'll be on there at least for a little bit, because of course the Canes are playing Thursday night too. So I'm gonna watch the draft for the first pick, and then it'll be I'll probably have you guys on getting the draft news from that while I'm watching hockey. So I'll still be in the comments for sure, at least.
Well, Thursday,
KG.
I want you to think about this for Thursday. This is the only question I got for you. Not who you're picking. It's what color Mendoza jersey are you going to buy? Is it going to be black, white, silver, or maybe a combination like a half and half? So that's all. That's what I want to know for Thursday.
Okay, I'll save it for Thursday.
And just remember, Maddie, all bits are accepted.
I do like a good bit, you know that.
Oh, I do know. And we might have one in store for you, baby. That's all I'm gonna say.
I was really upset though that Scooter got sick and he had the sore throat, because man, he kind of gave me the idea that what he was going to be wearing for the Mel Kiper look, and it was going to be pretty damn hysterical. But he literally had no voice on Monday, so that kind of sucked, because I was looking forward to that bit and the laughs that would have gotten from everybody.
That's why I love it, man. Bits are like, that's the thing. You got a bit, you run the bit out there and let's go. We'll figure everything else out.
Exactly.
As a group. KG?
Most definitely. Thank you, Maddie. Man, great having you. Don't forget, everybody, check in to Drive Time Mondays at 5 with Maddie Ice, Showtime Sarah, and Scooter.
Yes, sir.
You will not be disappointed. You're going to learn, and you're going to have some fun along the way, because the bits. Oh my goodness. Let's talk about what is that? Showtime's her hate bit. Ooh.
Oh yeah. That'll be good too. And I'll end up with about 20 different Osei Can You Sings to review by the time we get to Monday night from all the playoff games. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of them. All right, fellas. I appreciate the time.
Be easy,
all right,
man.
Talk to y'all later.
All right, now. That was Matty Ice, ladies and gentlemen, our resident hockey expert, coming through and getting you set up and all ready for the rest of the NHL playoffs. Before we get out of here, a little MLB talk with the Midnight Rider.
Okay.
Just got a couple of questions. Nothing real heavy. Let's just keep it at home. We're gonna keep it at home. With
Okay.
the Nationals being 10-13, 3 games below 500, 6 games out of first, 5-5 in their last 10, but they are playing pretty damn good on the road. How is it that I don't understand. You got to talk to me like a novice, because this new form of baseball I don't understand. How is it that a team can play above 500 on the road but play cellar dweller at home?
Well, I mean, it happens the easy way because I think in their last 3 ball games, they are up to 8 errors. I did say they would get to baseballs better, but it looks like they're still making the mental mistakes when they get to the baseball. So what happens is when you give away runs in baseball, baseball is one of those sports that's unforgiving. Like you got to take the out when you have the out. You know what I'm saying? You can't wait for the next time or the next option because you may not get that option. You may not get that next time. So that's why it's a little more important in baseball to take the outs that you get, take your wins, and enjoy your wins or enjoy the moments because you don't know when that next moment is going to happen. So that's the key to baseball and this team. The other thing about this team that you have to worry about is just they're so young in so many places. Like, it's like the Mary J. Blige song where she goes through the days of the week. Like Monday, a friend of mine. Well, like Monday, you might have this starter on the mound, and then Tuesday is somebody else, and then Wednesday, it's some dude that's a opener, and then Thursday, it might be another starter, but it's just then you start the week all over again, and it goes back to Friday, and so it's just you gotta be careful because with this team, the most important thing is every little step you take because they're not good, but they're hitting the baseball well, and if they can just play average defense, this team will give themselves a chance. And all we're trying to do is be Lloyd Christmas with Mary Swanson and say there's a chance.
I like how you put it there, and you said it's every little step you take, and I wonder, is it the home games is that they can't sleep at night? They just keep tossing and turning. Are they listening for the telephone?
But I mean, it may not be an issue with their telephone because they could be possibly saying, "Mr. Telephone Man, there's something wrong with my line." When I dial my baby's number, I get a click every time. But what also could be happening is just they're not used. And when I think about these things, this team is so young, and they're rotating guys through the lineup so much that I just think they haven't gotten settled yet. And I always let's kick it old school. Instead of my mama, my dad used to always say, when it comes to baseball, you gotta get to May. And that's when people want to play a certain way. Some guys it's gotta get hot and it's gotta stay hot. And that's when their game changes, that's when their numbers go up, you know. Um and I guess even their mamas would say, take your time, young man, you know, and that's something mama used to say. So, but I think that's the thing with baseball is, Mike Rizzo always had the great saying of we play 162 ball games and we give guys the opportunity to play to the back of their baseball card. And I think that's what this is. This is one of the moments where they're trying to learn to play to the back of their baseball card. Some of these guys don't even have a back of their baseball card to play to, so we don't know.
I see when you say that you got to get to May. I've heard that before because when the weather really truly heats up and you kind of get the frost off, the ball starts flying more.
Right.
And it's been kind of cool in the area lately. The last 2 days has been pretty daggone cool. We had a frost warning day before yesterday, so yeah. Okay. All right. Final question before we we go to
It's
wrap
one of those
that
things
shit
where
up.
you.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Final question. Do you think this Nats team, even though they're young, but still, what we're talking, 23 games into the season,
Right. Right.
it's still a young season. Do you think this Nats team will pull a true Nats, and I'll say going into the All-Star break maybe at 500, and all of a sudden after the All-Star break they just explode and they surprise everybody and become one of the hottest teams? Not saying they'll win the World Series, but do you think they'll do like the Nats of old used to do, where it's kind of shaky to start out, but then all of a sudden they running like an open faucet and to the finish line?
I think their issue is they don't have enough consistency to do that. They'd be the opposite version of a Key Sweat song. They are young, but they not ready. So that's the only difference. Um, I don't know if they can learn to be a consistent team in the frame that it takes. Their pitching is killing them. They're getting or scoring like 5.5 runs, but they're giving up 7. So you can't really win like that, and then you're winning late. And so now it's like, these young guys are getting to a point where they're playing winning baseball, but then they're also playing losing baseball. On the offensive side, they're hitting the ball all over the place. The problem is on the defensive side, they're throwing it all over the yard. So it's just one of those things where they gotta become better caretakers of their possibility. Like sometimes people put hope in your hands, and you got to figure out what's the best way and how to handle hope with care.
There you go, telling me no again. But all right, I guess I gotta accept that. So it's about that time to wrap that up. B. Final thoughts before we close out.
I'm just going to re-emphasize what I said before. Don't get lost, and don't think that the baseball world is in a good place right now, because again, we had 2 people from the MLBPA get fired for cause. So this is still a problem. This is still going to be an issue. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. So, like, for everybody that thinks, there's a lot of people that thinks 2027, the 2026, the 27 season is in doubt, and they got every right to think it, because I'm just nervous with the top 3 people in the MLBPA being out. Like, what's the direction? What way are they going? I mean, with the staff that they had before, they had them riding on a rocket ship, going to the top, and then with a half a mile from heaven, they dropped them off. And like now they got to start all over, and that's trouble. I'm sorry.
Great. My wrap it up. My last final thoughts. Tomorrow at 7:30, Nothing But Net takes over. 30 minutes around the association, getting you in-depth coverage of the NBA playoffs. That is the Midnight Rider and C. Perry II.
And possibly Josh Walker.
And possibly Josh Walker. Thursday, don't forget, we will be covering hopefully the entire first round, but we'll see how far we get. 7:30 start time. Special start time on Thursday will be 7:30. From 7:30 to 8 will be just a normal Thursday night throwdown. And then all of a sudden, the lights come on and the curtain goes up. And the NFL draft coverage starts. So,
are we doing a special NBA draft theme that we're gonna play? Because I got theme songs. So I mean, if you need a theme song, no, I'm joking with you.
shoot. I mean,
Yeah.
We got to do. But we'll have to figure that out because I think we need to put together an intro. But
Okay.
we got 2 days to work on it.
All right. So maybe we do something. So like at 7:59, we'll drop an intro and go in with the NBA draft version.
Works.
All right, cool.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Maddie for coming on and talking NHL with us. Wait, what? You can keep that Norma Jeans. What? Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. But again, thank you, Maddie, for coming on, giving us an NHL update. Thank you to everybody that watched. Thank you to everybody that's listening. That's the Midnight Rider. I'm the big guy, KG. Thank you, Midnight Rider, for being you and pulling me back out of the doldrums when I was going too hard on daggone Billy Donovan. So I appreciate you for that. So until next time, we are out of here.